bit of trouble with the L200. So let me get under the truck, then I can talk to you. Now, basically, it was making a funny noise as I was slowing down, but not every single time. Like a wheel bearing was on its way out. Definitely road speed orientated. So either transfer box, prop shaft, back axle, I was guessing, or wheel bearing. And I got underneath, and basically you got the prop shaft going down towards the back axle here. You got a carrier, then you got the little short stubby section of prop shaft that goes into the back of the transfer box. Check this out. Yeah, I think that's fucked. So I gotta get it off. I'll get it off. I'll get on the bench. Let me just get the pouch from under here. The boys are making a racket today, and I've been waiting to do this bit of video, but I thought now I'll do it. And then from these guys, Milner Off-Road, I bought a new joint. This bastard. Look at that. Sexy, huh? A new UJ. The reason for that will come obvious. A few bolts and nuts and things. They even emailed me the instructions, which it all looks fairly straightforward, but it's quite useful. It's nice that these guys have got this sort of attention to details. This is Milner Off-Road Limited, and I bought this. You Google them. I bought it from their website, which I shall put in the link down here right now. No commercial link whatsoever. Let me get this thing off, and we'll see what it looks like. Right, well, no real issues getting it off the car. It's got a splines on the back of the transfer box. There's your ropey mount. I'm sure that should be a little bit more rich than that. It is all over the place. Completely failed, that rubber has. And then 4 nuts and bolts at the back holding it onto the differential. The nuts and bolts, for reference, 12mm at one end and 14mm at the other. I think it was 14mm at the other. 14mm at t'other. That undoes those. Now, what we need to do here is, I think, first of all, clean this up, and then these this UJ needs to come out in order to get this shaft off, because I don't think I can undo that nut with the shaft in place. So I'm going to replace this UJ. Check all the other UJs on this while I'm here. Feels okay. I'll re-lube everything. It's got grease nipples on it. Fuck my boots. Yeah, re-lube everything, and then get it apart. So let me clean up first of all. Put the kettle on. Clean up, and then I'll go through getting this universal joint apart. I'll put you on the tripod for that, eh? Right. Okay. So that's cleaned all that up. I did it the lazy way, just sprayed a little bit of my degrease on. Wire wheel brush on cordless drill. Made a fucking great mess, which is down there now. And there we go. So these are held in with circlips, big C-pins, and you can see one just about there. So I'm going to finish off making my coffee, because that's not happened yet. And then I'm going to knock these C-clips out and see if we can see. There you go. This thing's a bit long at the moment, and it's a bit unwieldy, and it keeps knocking itself over, and there's oil on here as well, unsurprisingly, because it goes into the transfer box. Right, let's see if we can get this clip out. So I'll work on this one first of all. So literally just going to find the end of it, which is right there. Give it a tap. Did it come out? Fucking did. Straight away. It was that easy. Put the screwdriver on this side, and I'll just pull him out. It's just a case then go. One hulking great big C clip like that. With me? There you go. Right, 4 more of those to go. There's the next one. Is that the end? That's the end. Just using my well-abused wood chisel here, folks. Old wood chisels never die. They just move into the workshop and get abused further. Rotate it around and then pull this C-clip out. As you see here, I'm using my C-clip removal tool. Crazy. There'll be someone bellowing in the comments about what a fucking amateur and what a ham-fisted gibbon and oh dear me. I'll be pissing someone off about what an absolute monkey I am. Yeah, that's effective. Right, let's got those 2 off. Now I can see that one there, so let's get that one off next. Remember last time I was doing a prop shaft, I managed to wreck the chair, didn't I? Just see if I can push that one a bit further. I can. Oh yes. Yeah, I managed to wreck the chair, if you remember rightly. Oh, is that a bit of shim behind there? Just maybe a bit of paint, I don't know. Maybe get the thicker screw out of this one. Angering someone, I can tell. I can feel it in me water. There'll be someone getting really pissed off. How very dare you? There you go. I do it like you would do it in your kind of shed at home. I don't see any reason why not. That one's off. Now one more. Where's the last one? That one's gone. That one's gone. That one's gone. Michael's about to go then. He's down here. It's here somewhere. Yes. I'm not sure it is there actually. Maybe there wasn't one. Maybe there wasn't a oh, there it is. Silly ass. There must have been, otherwise the bloody cut would have just fallen out. Of course there was one. God, listen to me chuckling away. I'm going to speed one through all of this. There we are, 4 C-clips out and in the box. Now, what we need to do, move the other tool out of the way, have a slab of coffee. This is the method that usually works for me. So mounting it in a vise, one half of the yolk in there, give it a couple of taps, and out she comes. Rotate. And repeat. And remove. And now this can come off. This is the short half of the prop shaft. Get these other 2 out now, which is actually a lot easier because all you do really is mount the yoke across the vise. Before to close it up a little bit now. Putting them in is a world different, but getting them out is trouble is my vise is now too close to the edge of the bench. Ham-fisted gibbon. Right. Before you all plead insanity, etc., 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 I'm belting it quite a long way down the yoke here, and I know some people are going to be upset about it, but bollocks to them. UJ removed, yoke removed. Right, it's out. Ah, dear me. Right, now we've done that, let's return to the bench, because I need to now get this fucker off. Ooh, it's a big one. Probably didn't need to swear then, Richard, did you? Oh, my coffee. Right, big nut needs to come off next that holds the yoke onto the little stubby prop shaft. Now the book here, the manual that provides is 24mm. It's actually 27. I'm going to use my new DeWalt Type 1. Don't know. What's the part number on it? Brushless impact bastard. There, DCF 901 impact wrench. Does it work? We're on the right way. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. So that comes off. The washer comes off. Now, on the inside here we've got splines. So what I'm inclined to do here is actually mark on the end here, perhaps, and maybe on the spline itself, is the actual orientation of this bloody thing. So if I put a mark there we go, and then a mark, oopsie, if I just do that, just gives me a rough idea about how it's going to go back together again. That's good. Now this should actually come off. Will it come off, or will it need to be pulled off? What's the instruction say? All I was doing there, by the way, was just punching it with the letter I, using my little punch set that I bought thousands of years ago for legitimate reasons, folks. Before you all start getting excited, no, legitimate reasons. But the main reason is I need to punch metal. Sometimes, occasionally, I need to punch metal. Like in this instance, I've marked the relationship between the outer tube and the flange, but then I've also marked the relationship on the splines between the shaft and the base of the spline. With me? Good. What's it say here? Remove, oh yeah, it tells you how to use sockets. If you wanted to use sockets, it does say use a 30mm socket and a 17mm socket, but I can't be asked. It's a lot quicker using a hammer. Remove the UJ, remove the UJ. Undo the 24, use a breaker bar or an impact wrench. Use a breaker bar if you want to. Remove the nuts. Take note of yoke alignment. Mark yokes at both ends of the prop shaft if necessary. Slide yoke from spline shaft. You with me? Just slide it off. You might be right. I'm not sure if it moved or not. It is moving. It's just fucking tight. Check those marks are still there. If they are. It's a bit too modern for me, this. Probably could press it off, but not press it off, pull it off. Put it off. For now. Coffee. Comes. Hear it coming. Show us your coming face. He's off. Nicely done. Right, that's off. Mark is still visible on the inside there. Yes. Mark is still visible on the end. Yes. Now, we need to get the yoke off next. What it basically says is remove the washer. Did we remove the? Yes, we did remove the washer. Press the bearing from the prop shaft. We can use the press. I don't want to start exerting too much pressure on this though, so I'm going to put the nut back on it. We've got a new nut. Just put the nut back on as a precaution so I don't end up mangling the threads. No, there's not a new nut. So washers. I think it's going to need to be pressed off. I've got a feeling that the actual boot is going to just tear off. I mean, look at it. That's that off. Yeah, that bit come off. Don't think it was doing an awful lot. Showing some signs of fatigue. I think it's probably had enough. Now we've got here the bearing. And a load of grease. That bearing needs to come off there. And I think what I might end up doing here, have I got my puller here? Let me have a work out what I'm going to do. Then I might come back to you shouting. It just saves me editing a whole load of swearing out. Some people are offended by my language. Let's have a little clean up and see what's going on here. It is literally that bearing then comes off and leaves that shaft on, I think. I think that's exactly how it works. Right, let me have a go. I don't know if you saw that on the floor then or not. Came off quite easily. Gave it a couple of taps with a hammer, pointing downwards, bearing came off. Right, we need a bit of a clean up now, I think, and then we'll see about assembling the new parts. It's difficult to work out which way that fucking goes on. I think it just goes on. Compare like for like. Yeah. Yeah. This one's a lot more. This one's got so much give in it. That's ridiculous. This one, okay, it's soft, but there's no way to it rattle around like the other one. and it's not separate either. That's the bearing. Oh, that is just a seal. That's not a metal lip, that is just a rubber seal. This thing seems to be exactly the same on both sides. I mean, looking at it without the seal, this bearing is exactly the same on both sides. So I'm inclined to suggest that it's exactly the same on both sides. Bollocks to it. There comes a point where you just can't be asked. I'm just pushing it on. Because obviously I need to get the bearing onto the shaft. Bearing sits on here. I need to get the bearing onto that centrally. I'm reluctant to press it actually because I've got a feeling it's going to end up going on the piss and I'm going to end up damaging the nice rubber. Oh, it's a lot better, this one. It does feel nicer. It's certainly going on. A little bit of a wiggle. Wondering if putting the yoke back on the outside and doing the nut up might actually pull the bearing down a lot better than I'm doing it with a mallet. Line the yoke back up. Come on, you fucker. So it's definitely that tooth. And we've got the big fat washer. I don't think it's gone anywhere near down far enough yet. What I could try doing. Nothing. That is doing nothing. It's moving down. That is doing it. That's going on. And that's in the right orientation. And the nut is on there, so literally just putting the yoke on it, holding it into place, and then bashing the edge of the yoke has put the bearing onto the shaft. Now what I need to do now, it's nice and tight, to torque that up. I didn't copper grease the splines, but it doesn't matter, there's so much fucking lube on them. Slide the yoke onto the prop shaft. Remove the grease, blah 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 blah, silicone grease, no. Insert center bearing of the shaft, yeah. Slide the yoke onto the shaft, making sure the yokes are aligned, which they are. Yokes in alignment. Bum, 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 bum. Fit. Flange nut provided. Disregard the old nut and washer, but the nut's not provided. 100 foot-pounds. Doesn't seem to be a lot, does it? So I'm going to mount this in the vise now, I think, and get some torque on this. That's what we could do. We can be really naughty. I could say that's £100. It ain't going to go any further. It's about the same amount of thread showing as there was before. There we go. Ham-fisted gibbon. Right, now we need to reassemble the universal joint, and I'm inclined to do it. I'm not going to reuse the old universal joint, that's just silly. Double check the UJ is correct for the prop shaft. Ooh. Yes, it is. It's the one that's got the grooves, the circlets, C-clips on the inside of the cups. In fact, they've even provided new C-clips for that. Right, I'm not going to press these universal joints in because I think I've seen already that this is going to be quite weak here. Which is probably why they put the C-clips on the inside. So I'm inclined to try and tap these UJs in. Worst case scenario would be pressing them in on a vise using a small socket or a nut. They contain nuts, but what I'm going to do first of all actually is I'm going to have my lunch because it's 1:30. Right, so all I really want to do here, just check these two end caps are clean and light. That's good. The next thing I do is I've got two end caps. One's got a hole in the end of it for the grease nipple, which is useful. What I'm inclined to do is to push the cup in slightly, because basically there's a big rubber seal on the end of it, and you've got to get the rubber seal past the edge of the yoke. And then I'm going to position the other half in and on, and then it can go down into the vise. This is where you kind of need four hands now, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do is I am going to do this way round because this thing's just too fucking heavy. The actual tube is very, very light. If I turn that around like that, and I can balance that on there, that'll do nicely. Yeah, that will work. Put you over here and out of the way. Fucking hell, Richard. Right, can you see what the fuck is going on? Tripod is pissing me off. Excellent, there we go. Right, you can see what's going on. That's good news. Well, at least we've done something. Okie doke. So I'll position the prop shaft with half of the device in the yoke. Come on, get in there, you fucker. What you basically need to do is you need to manipulate this so that you're not getting the roller pins damaged or trapped in between. Oopsie, come on, get back in there. So what I've done is I've pushed the UJ right in, and now I'm just going to squeeze the cup in, and it's not going in straight. Goody. That's always helpful, isn't it? It is now. Why is it not going in straight? It's because I'm videoing it, that's why. That's why I don't video half the stuff I do. We take this out. We haven't got any drop pins. That's good. Right, you can go back in and right the way in. Oh, fucking hell. Part of the problem is I've got the bench that's too fucking tall. And the other part of the problem is I've got a jumper caught. Just thinking about it a minute. Get a nut because I need to push this leading edge in, and it's that problem here. Blasted thing. What we got up here? There's a nut. That'll probably do it. Position that there. Drop it. Excellent. That's just almost exactly what I wanted to do with it. Lift it up. Position it there. Push it against that. Just push the last of these two universal joints on. There's no real force on this thing. It's just easier to do it in the vise than it is not in the vise. And then I need to really position my old wood spanner, wood chisel, on the C-clip. Push the C-clips in while it's sitting in the vise, and just make sure they're fully located into the groove, which is, and this one, which is there. See? Da, 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 da. Being particularly hand-fisted here, is putting it the right way around. I think there's a bit like with the circlips, there's a beveled edge and a non-beveled edge, and I'm struggling with this one for some reason. And I don't know why. It's just pissing me off, I think. It's because the camera's back on. Performing to the fucking camera means I can't concentrate on what I'm doing, and so therefore I balls it up. Just goes, and goes down, and he goes in. There we go. So that's all 4 C-clips in. Good. Oh, fucking hell, it's heavy. Orientation on the prop shaft. The only thing I need to do is it comes with a little bleed nipple which goes into one of the end pieces, which I'm going to do, and then I'm going to pump it full of grease. I fucking hurt my wrist then, that did. This end, the little short end, is very heavy. Very heavy indeed. Right, so that's going to be a 7 or an 8, I reckon. A 7. Screw him in. There we go. Try some grease. A bit of longevity. There we go. Just see this seal down here bulging. There we go. So when one of the seals does that, it's full. I'm making any more in it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other seals, do the other joints on this as well. So there's one there, and there's one over there. I'll put it back on then. A test drive. Oh yeah. And there it all is, back in again. So rear UJ back in alignment with the diff. Whence it come. Splines on the gearbox I didn't worry about, but that's a fair bit different, that, compared to how it was. I know it's on its side, folks, sorry. I'm underneath the car and I haven't got a 4-post lift. But that is a fair bit different to how it was. I won't wobble the exhaust at the same time. What I do need to do now, I think, is just test it for a vibration. Start up. Out, fuck's sake, Richard. Let's leave the skateboard down here. Start up. We're in 2-wheel drive, handbrake off. Third gear. Just really need to check it for any excess vibration. Exhaust is crackling, sorry about that folks, as am I. But I think what we'll do is we'll put it off the jacks. I'll take it for a run down the road and back again. I think that should have fixed that nasty vibration anyway. Might have a cup of coffee. There we are. After a quick test drive, order is resumed. No more growling noises. Yeah, it drives a lot better as well. There you go, not this vibration, which I'm honestly not surprised about. It's like some sort of a glory hole. No, you just said it, Richard. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a laugh, wasn't it, eh?